No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? There's Brad Bedell's chest. How we doing? It is a Wednesday edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. We appreciate you guys for joining us. Got a basketball game tonight against Nevada. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Get you set for a big one over at Extra Mile Arena. But we got Brad here to talk some football with us. We're excited for that and a lot going on. I know it's kind of a weird time, I guess, right now, Brad. But, with no spring practice, but you got recruiting going on and some inside baseball type stuff I wanted to ask you about in terms of coaching and recruiting. And we missed you last week, but appreciate you for jumping on. How you doing?
Absolutely. I'm doing well. And
Former offensive line men in the NFL, former offensive line coach at a lot of places. We always appreciate your perspective on things and your insight on kind of how things work, Brad. So folks do have we can call it a press conference Wednesday with Brad Bedell. If you got a question for Brad or a comment, anything you want to throw at a former player who was drafted into the NFL and played in the NFL and has coached at a lot of big time places. It's, like I said, kind of a weird week with not a ton going on. But if you have a question for Brad, throw that in the chat and we'll get that to you here shortly. Again, this is a production from RowPaint.com, ROEPaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and Company. We appreciate RowPaint.com for their support of Bronco Nation News and for those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting. Make sure you hit up our friends over at RowPaint.com. By the way, I'll get one of these for your kids maybe if you want it, Brad. But tonight at the game, they are giving the basketball game. I have been presented this by our friends over at Jackson's. They are giving away 500 of these to the students. These little, is it a net bucket hat? I don't know what we're calling this thing, but we got a little Jackson's hat they're giving away. If they can find 500 students to show up at the game tonight, they'll be giving away these bucket hats tonight to the students. So shout out Jackson's and all of our friends over there. Great sponsor. And if you're a student and you're going to the game tonight, make sure you pick up one of these, that courtesy of our friends at Jackson's. So thank you to Jackson's, the game sponsor tonight.
Yeah, it looks like you're an elephant ear cake on your head.
I'm sure that'll be screenshotted and memed, but I'll do anything for the sponsors, Brad. I'm a sucker for the sponsors.
Hey,
So
they're the lifeblood.
they are.
So without them,
Well,
we couldn't be doing this. So I'm just as appreciative of them as you are.
We will talk more basketball later in the show. As I said, we'll hear from Javen Buchanan, get set for tonight's game. But while we have Brad, I do want to talk some football. And you mentioned the lifeblood of an organization like this. Well, the lifeblood of, a college football team is recruiting and getting players in there. And we, have seen some pictures now and with some of the coaches out at schools and high school coaches posting pictures, with coaches and telling, thanks to Boise State for stopping by or whoever else. And I know it's obviously a lot different now with the early signing day in December with the transfer portal, but what is the month of January like? Let folks in terms of just what it's like as a coach, and in the recruiting. And obviously there's still a signing day in February. You're still trying to get some kids signed, but it's not nearly the same as it probably was, 5-6 years ago before the early signing period.
No, it's nothing. It doesn't even compare, to be quite honest with you. It's very hectic. It's actually, there's two seasons, right? There's football season and recruiting season. So now typically what happens is, coaches, depending on their schedule, some coaches are different. They'll probably get on a plane Sunday night. I'll give you an example. So I can remember one weekend. So I got on a plane Sunday, went to Dallas, Texas to do my area. And then I flew to Washington to look at 2 offensive linemen, then went to Oregon for 2 offensive linemen, then flew to California for 2 offensive linemen to come home. We had to be there home by Friday at 1 because we had an official weekend. So the official weekend starts Friday, Saturday, see your family, during that time. Then you're back out on a plane on Sunday to go see either more kids in your area that were trying to get on a visit, or the kids that went on a visit and popped up and said, Coach, I'm kind of leaning and we're going to battle. So then you got to get back on a plane to go visit a kid you had committed. Sometimes if he's a big time kid that you really need him, it's like, hey guys, everybody drop your schedule because I need 7 of you to get on this plane to go look at this offensive lineman because we got to make sure and get him. Right. The difference between now and when I was in it is you can now talk to kids. You can now have interactions with your 25 class. And so that's a huge difference. The other big difference is
what do you mean by that?
You can talk to the student athlete. Like back in the day, you couldn't talk to them. You could say hello. You could get measurement or, how big is he really? And then they'll bring him out of class and you can look at him and go, okay, yeah, I got it.
Oh, you go to the school?
When you go to the school. And then you can do home visits now. I mean, so so right now it's like you can home visit your future guys. You can see the kids in the school that you're interested in, but you're really not sure if he's going to be either big enough or is he long enough. Things like that. That's on the area coach. So the difference for everybody to know, the area coach, you have an area, right? So I had Arizona, I had Colorado, and then I had bits and pieces of Dallas, Texas. That's my area. So if I go and see a wide receiver that I think is really good, I've seen him in person. I've watched the film. I pass that on to the wide receivers coach. He'll go see him maybe, or we'll watch film as an offensive staff, and then everybody go, hey, what do you guys think? Yeah, I think he's an offer guy. Let's pull the trigger. By that time, it's my job to get the transcripts, to do the background check character-wise, to talk to the young man, to talk to the family, to talk to the champion or who's going to really attach and help him make this decision. And then by that time, check, let's pull the trigger. And so that's the difference between getting through the process of getting a young man committed. Some schools are different. Some schools will walk in and go, you're offered. You want a scholarship? You got one. Hey, here we go. It's like a game show. Yeah. Knowing that some of those young men cannot commit to that scholarship. They're just doing it to throw their hat in the ring, and then we're going to evaluate them later. Where if you really know the tendency, and this is common knowledge, How many times have you seen Boise State offer a kid, and then all of a sudden you have 7 offers in a matter of 4 days?
All the
Is
time.
because all the time is because everybody in this country, it's the Boise way. Washington did it. Colorado did it. So Boise State did background checks. They did their homework. And then when they pulled the offer, everybody knew, oh my God, he checked all the boxes. If Boise offered him and we think he's good enough, offer him. Offer. And so that's kind of an interesting way of doing it. But now head coaches take advantage of this. Remember, head coaches don't go out in the spring. So
I was
now,
going to say a couple things on that. So it's 5. You can do 5. Is it 5 in-home visits an assistant coach can do?
right? Yeah, the head coach can only do 1.
Starts or when that is, but I think it's 5 for an assistant coach and then 1 for the head coach, right? So I know there was always a time, especially leading up when there was only 1 signing period, where it was kind of like, all right, when are you going to fire that bullet with the head coach to go take that 1 visit? And I got some folks in the chat, someone mentioned basketball. If you just joined us, we are going to talk basketball a little later in the show. We're talking football with Brad right now. So 5 for the assistant coach, 1 for the head coach, right? And you got to kind of map that out in terms of when you want to fight, bite the, use that bullet in the chamber.
It's strategic. It's definitely strategic. It's on the area coach, the position coach, when to do that. If you feel he's really committed, you don't have, the competencies like, coach, I'm coming. Don't worry about it. I'm coming. Okay, then get the head coach in there early, seal it up, and then it's over. Where, hey, coach, I'm still going to take 3 other visits. Okay, then we're going to delay that a little bit. Okay, we're going to want to wait for the head guy to get in there, because you always kind of want the head coach to be the last guy. If you're really battling, you want him to be the last visit. You want them to see your logo at 9:00 at night, sitting at home, and all of a sudden it goes dead and nobody can get back into the home. And so it's a strategic plan, the way you got to do it. And so I know for us, like, let's take the Las Vegas Bowl for an example. This is where now everybody now is early signing day, right? Well, we were in the Las Vegas Bowl and we were getting ready for the bowl game, and then it was National Signing Day. So a couple of days before that, we actually had a plane ready to go. It was sitting there. I'm sure it was I don't know whose plane it was, but somebody probably came in for the bowl game and said, okay, you guys can use it if you need it. And so we were on ready. And so we were talking to kids. And if we had to hop on a plane, even when we were getting ready for this bowl game, we were going to hop on a plane in the morning, go, hey, let's go talk to this kid. Let's get it done, because we didn't want to lose it. Now, thankfully, nothing happened. But, there's some kids that came here that was a battle. That was a battle to the end. And the guys who are playing the National Football League right now, they're battles to the end. I remember J.L. Skinner was a battle. That was a battle. Ezra Cleveland wasn't much of a battle. Brett Rippon was good. He was in. Ben Dooley was locked in, and things like that. So, but there's some battles right now that John Hightower, there was a battle at a junior college. That was a battle.
I know this would happen a lot at Boise State, where literally that night before signing day, USC would lose one of their guys, somebody, and they would just go, okay, well, who's the top D lineman on Boise State's list, or who's the top? They would just literally very little recruitment at all of a player, but all of a sudden the night before signing day, oh, it's USC, I'm taking this call, and crazy stuff happens those kind of 24 hours before signing day too.
No, but I've been on the phone at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. night before signing day. Just no, come on now, don't do this. And then you're spitting out the facts. Okay, who's the coach? What's the system? Do you understand where you're going into? Just because it's a logo doesn't mean it's the best fit. And usually you win those more than you lose. But now that the NIL and all of a sudden 9th hour, we need them. Yep. So we're going to offer them another $100,000. And so now you're in a whole different predicament of a battle with NIL. Yeah, in Auburn, we got ripped on a kid, another SEC team, because they magically came up with $250,000 and said, hey, we want you. And we're like, okay, we're going to match everything. And then all of a sudden, boom, it took him to almost $1 million. And we're like, we can't do this.
And I've heard from like Bill Self, the Kansas basketball coach, some other people talking about this. We're like, you don't know if those offers are true either. A dad could come in and say, oh, well, this school, we've got an offer out there for this. And then you have, half the time it's probably not the case. And half the reported numbers out there on Twitter end up not being true. But it's like, how do you as a coach,
you stand by what you got, right? It's like, hey, we love you. We're going to develop you. You're going to graduate. You're going to achieve your goals. We just don't have that money right now. And it's not saying we're not going to have it, but right now it's just, this is what we got. And I think that makes your list. That makes your evaluations. You got to evaluate more kids. You got to turn every stone over. You've got to do a lot of things because you're bad. Look at the young man at Rocky, right? Really good offensive lineman. He's had SC, Tennessee, everybody. Boise State sent the entire staff, right? They're getting loaded. Utah. All the head coaches are coming in here, and the kid.
Somebody told me you saw Kalani Sitake at the Boise airport the other day. I assume that's why he was here.
He was here, and then the Fruitland offensive tackle. They're all going to see him, and so it's just a different way of doing things right now. And now, for everybody who who's asking, how do they get around? The big programs, you're flying privately.
Well, I was going to ask you how the Auburn recruiting compared to Boise State recruiting. Was there more private Auburn or more first class seat tickets?
No, we never flew first class, but we flew privately. So Auburn has his own. I think Auburn has like 12 jets, and the reason why they have 12 jets is because they actually have a major where you fly, you get your license, and it feeds into Delta. It's aeronautical. I forgot. I had 3 tight ends graduate from it. And so they do a lot of their private licensing through these planes. And so what happened, like, for instance, I'd hop on a plane at 6 a.m. I'd go to Dallas, Texas. I'd visit 12 kids. I'd hop on a plane at 6 at night, and I'd go home. You don't have that here. Now, you have private planes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the guys are rolling. But it's nice to have the private plane because think about this. You get the private plane. You could put 12 in it. You can go into California. Now you've got 12 or 10 guys out there, and you're hitting Southern California hard. And now you're back in. Okay, where are we going next? We're going to Arizona or Dallas, Texas, or the other hotbed. The only time you never fly privately is to Hawaii. You can't. And you don't fly first class. I mean, we don't fly. You don't fly first class. I mean, we're still state schools, and there's budgets and things like that. But a lot of the planes are donated.
For the most part, I saw Harsh going to Texas once with Riddle, where I think he was on like a Delta flight. But I think for the most part now, they've got it to the point where when Spencer's going out, for the most part, I think Spencer's going private, right?
Right. He has to.
Assistant coaches aren't, but I mean, if Spencer's going to have 24 hours of his time, if he flies private, he can go see a kid in California and Arizona and Utah on the same day.
Exactly. You don't have, and not only that is, and then let's say he's going to see 3 kids in Southern California. Yeah, I know he went to a school in Southern California. My brother's the head coach there. So he went and saw them, and then he may go see another kid in, let's just use the high school close, Mater Dei. But let's just use Mater Dei for an example. Well, he may have gone to Mayfair. Then he went to St. John Bosco. And then he went to Mater Dei. And then he hit 4 other schools. So it's not like he's not coming in to see the kid. He's going to see a kid, go to 4 different schools, and then see the other kid. And that's when you utilize the head coach. And the head coach getting in these schools is important. They see the same people. They see the same area coach, see the same position coach. Getting the head coach in there and getting to really talk to the head coach and things like that is it's more attached to the program. And I think at the end of the day, the head football coach says, hey, head guy came in here. The head guy cares about my school. And so I think that always helps.
Is there a limit on that? Is there a limit on how many times the coaches can go to the schools?
You know what? They changed that rule a little bit. Back in the day, like right now, you can go once a week. You can go once a week. In the spring, I don't know the new rule. In the spring, you can't have more than 2 coaches go in institution at the same time.
Okay.
So you can't have the whole staff go and see the Rocky kid. It only can be 2. And you can only see him. This is the old rule. I'm not too sure about the new rule. You can only see him twice: an academic evaluation and an athletic evaluation. So you got to track that. And then during the season, you can only see a young man play 1 time. But if they're playing, let's say Rocky is playing Eagle, and you went to that game, you can't go back to see Rocky or Eagle play again. So you can't cross.
You have another kid you're looking at. You can't go when they're playing Rocky or Eagle.
No, you gotta do Rocky and Eagle in the same evaluation, same day.
All right. Fascinating conversation here. If you have a question or comment for Brad, recruiting, anything coaching related, let us know. We will talk basketball here in a little bit as we get set for tonight's game against Nevada. But I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors that make this show possible and free of charge for you on YouTube, including RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com. All your painting needs, those concrete coatings, highly recommend it. We've had it done twice at the Raines household. Just totally transforms the look of that ugly concrete slab in one day. Get more information, get a free estimate and consultation at RoePaint.com. TacoBellWorks.com, SON Management, the Nicolason family. I'm sure we'll see them courtside tonight at Extra Mile Arena. Perfect night to take the family to Taco Bell on the way down to the game tonight. TacoBellWorks.com. They're hiring, so if you are looking for a job, make sure you reach out. But they got the $7 Lux Cravings box, the Cantina Bowls, all the great food options at Taco Bell, and just great prices. So you're looking to feed the family for cheap, take them to a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location, and you can get more information on applying for a job or finding out about all the money they're donating to causes like Boise State Student Athlete Scholarships at TacoBellWorks.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Looking to have a Tyson Degenhardt show here in the next couple of days. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there on your smartphone. Check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, online at ICCU.com. I mentioned the giveaway tonight for students. If the Broncos can get 70 points tonight, you can get a hot dog, a fountain drink, and a banana for $2 on Friday using your Let's Go Rewards app. When the Broncos score 70, 2 days later, you get a hot dog, a fountain drink, and I believe they throw in a banana as well for just $2 using the Let's Go Rewards app at Jackson's. And don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog sold goes to support the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. And they donated, Brad, $100,000 to the collective just off 25-cent profits on hot dogs from last year alone. So that stuff adds up. So if you're looking for cold drinks, a snack, a hot dog, and, of course, gas, make sure you hit up our sponsor at Jackson's. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. If you're looking for a spa, maybe a pool table for the game room, maybe a sauna, they got you covered. Get more information online at thespateam.com. And speaking of the basketball game tonight, make sure you're properly equipped. They got the new jerseys, the Nike official team jerseys, all that good stuff, the coaches' sideline apparel, sweatshirts, hats, you name it. The best selection at the best prices, the Blue and Orange Store. You can get them online, theblueandorangestore.com, anywhere in the world. You can also have it in person there at the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. I know they've got some of the Fiesta Bowl gear. They're still got discounted. They got the Ashton Genty gear as well. So if you were looking for some basketball gear for the game tonight, make sure you hit up our friends at the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Okay, Brad. So when a coach goes to a school, I'm always curious, like at this point right now in January, when they're going to a school and we're seeing a picture, and I know your brother's a legendary high school coach in his own right, and deals with this probably every day. But I mean, we see these pictures that the schools are posting. Oh, thanks to Coach Stockton for coming by and checking out our players, whatever. How much of that is like at this point the coach is like actually going like to get real information from the coach and the counselor and the principal and the teacher and like actually they're on a fact-finding mission? How much of it is we already want the kid, we got to just go show up and do this to help out our case? I guess how much of it is ceremonial versus like actual very important for the coach to be at the school in terms of whether or not they want the kid or finding out more information?
Both. I mean, if you don't go to the school and the coach doesn't see you, you're not going to get the kid. You may go to schools that in the history have produced a lot of players, but they're kind of in a dry spell right now. You still want to go by that school because one could just pop up. And if you're going to the school and you're working your area and you're going to the schools and you're keeping the relationship with the coach, the other coaches, the administration, things like that, when that kid does pop up, you'd be shocked. I've been sitting in offices and a school would walk in and go, I must have a player. I haven't seen you in 2 years. Where they're like, and then the coach would always say, hey, I got a guy. You've been here every time. I've got a guy. All right, send him. Man, this guy can play. Let's offer him. And so that helps, right? Even though that may be a 15-minute visit, but you're still going by the school. And you just got to make yourself seen, because if you're not going by and the coach isn't seeing you, some other school is, and they're going to take advantage of that. And they're going to, if you're not by the school, schools will say to the kid, well, has Boise State come by? No. Then why are you even interested in them? Why are you going on an unofficial visit? They haven't even come by your school yet. And when the schools do it and the high schools put out, hey, thanks for, Spencer Danielson from Boise State, chopping it up, things like that. That's just good PR for the high school, because high schools are now open enrollment and full-fledged NIL too, and all the other crap that's going on right now. And so they're trying to publicize, like, I got schools coming to this school, so you may want to come play here. It's just good for the school.
I think Zach, I think it was Zach Hill that told a story one time. I forget who it was, but there was like a quarterback they were trying to get, or somebody big, and they were doing an in-home visit, and they didn't want whatever school was supposed to come next to be able to get in for the visit. So they either just stayed extra long in the house till it was too late for the other school to come, or they literally drove around the block, like waiting to see if the school is going to show up. I mean, there's probably all kinds of stories like that too, where you're at an in-home visit and another school that wants them is waiting outside in the driveway for their turn to go in. I don't know if you've ever actually crossed paths like in the front yard with another school or what, but that there's probably a whole book could be written or stories to be told over some beers about those kind of stories as well.
Oh, there's no doubt. I've scheduled 3 home visits at different times and said, hey, I'm coming in at 6. No, I'm going to come in at 8. No, I got to come in at 5. And it kind of confused the young man, so he just didn't schedule any other home visits. So I said, no. Remember, I said 6. I mean, you got to do what you can. Not to mention, right? You're going to, you got to eat, right? Sometimes they have dinner, and
I've heard you can't tell the parents no, right? Sometimes you're eating 3 dinners.
It's the most offensive thing. And I was at New Mexico State with Coach Walker. I will not say the player's name, but we were in Houston, Texas, and his mom made like a seafood gumbo, and we walked into the house and it didn't smell right. And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? And we went in and we gritted it, ate it. Everything was fine. And then both of us walk out and just get about 2 houses down in the car, open the door, and just start vomiting. We both got food poisoning.
Yeah.
Because it was just bad. I don't know, something bad it was in it. And I'm like,
you're not hungry. You can't say, oh, I don't like this. Whatever the mom's cooking, you're eating. And sometimes you got to shuffle around a little bit and things like that. But if you're not eating, they're like, are you not hungry? Do you not like it? Things like that. It's just, you're just stuck. Right. And those are the fun ones. Those are the funny ones. And then, I passed, hey, what's going on, coach? How'd it go? He's coming to Boise. You're wasting your time. I always did that. I'm like, what are you doing? You are wasting your time. What about, you mentioned Texas and California. Like, what about kids that maybe aren't as well off and don't live in great neighborhoods and I don't know the situations, but I mean, was there ever a time, you're a bigger guy, you probably didn't care, but I mean, is there ever a time where you got the address and you're driving to the house and you're like, making sure you're safe?
I signed a young man out of Compton, California, UC Davis. He was an engineer. He's doing phenomenal right now. He makes like $2 million or something. Well, we were blue. And so you don't wear blue, you don't wear red. You got to wear just strictly, white. And I said, okay. I said, oh, I'm coming in 6 at night. We're all set. And he goes, yeah, coach, but you're going to park at 7-Eleven. And then we're going to come and grab you and we'll bring you to the house and then we'll take you out. And I'm like, no, I'll drive. Don't worry about it. I was like, no, coach, I don't think you understand. He's like, you're not parking in front of my house. So I pulled up. There was a guy sitting there. He goes, "Are you coach?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, get in or get out." He got in the car, put a gun on the dashboard, and said, "Your car will be fine. Don't worry about it. Have a good visit." Drove me in, had the visit, drove me out.
Wow.
It's just the way it is.
Wow.
You'll do whatever you can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not, it's just because I did, with Compton and Compton Centennial and just that whole corridor is, there's a gang issue. And when your colors are blue or your colors are red, you don't wear them. You don't wear them.
Robbie says, did you ever try the allergy line to get out of any kind of food? You got allergies.
Look at me. I don't have a food allergy.
Yeah, that wouldn't have flown very well with some of the moms.
No, I never did that. I never did that. I tried to get lunch. When you're fighting for a kid, you'll get it anywhere. So I was like, hey, let's go to breakfast. Let's go to lunch. Dinner's set, coach. I can't do dinner. Fine, we'll do lunch. Anything to get into the school. Let's go have ice cream. And I sometimes, like when you're on your third home visit, you can get a little stagnant. So we would go, hey, let's go bowling. Let's go do something and have fun. Let's bring your family. Let's go bowling. Let's do whatever we can. Let's play a board game. And so those are ways like to have fun, to kind of see a different side. So it's not just football. It's like, oh, these guys they're gonna take care of me. Let's have some fun. Get out of your comfort zone. Things like that.
Surf City Bill says, who's checking to make sure you're following all the rules?
So compliance. So you have to fill out and report through an app of what schools you've been to. And then you got to fill out, all your reimbursement. So, and then it's a really cool app. It's like if I made a mistake and I was going to go to a school like in spring, but somebody's already been to that school twice, it's a big red thing. It says, do not go. And then, oh my God, I just made a mistake and we already went. But compliance does all that. And you got to do there's a lot of compliance to it back in the day, coaches are taking pictures of coaches talking to kids in a room in spring ball. That was a big no-no. So you never I never thought it was worth it to huddle a kid in a room and just say, Boise State. It's like, you're not signing for 6 months. We're going to get to know you over the course of time. I just want to see if you're big enough. And then if he's in there, you can say hello. And pretty much that's it back in the day. But yeah, you used to see coaches taking pictures, coaches to have players in their car, just stuff like that, just to get a leg up.
Well, in the past too, you could never, nowadays if Spencer Danielson goes to Meridian High School and visits with a prospect or whatever, and that prospect or coach puts that out there on social media, like Spencer Danielson can like that or retweet that or whatever else. He can't comment on it and type something out, but you're now allowed to share posts on social media when you go visit with recruits or when a recruit commits. That whole aspect with social media now is a lot different, what you're allowed to do as well.
No doubt. The other thing is I've gone into that. If I thought a kid like it could be an O lineman, it could be a D lineman, it could be anybody, pardon me, and I thought he was really flying underneath the radar, I asked the coach, can you not put out that I came by? I go, we're going to offer it, but can you not put out that I came by? Because nobody was going, and I didn't want to blow him up. So I'd be like, coach, can you just kind of keep this in between us give me at least a week?
Do that though if he wants to try to get out the interest for his kid.
Because you're the one guy who's been to the school in the first 2 years, and nobody's coming through, and he's blasting all the coaches, but they just haven't come by yet. And so all of a sudden now it's like, hey, I want to thank, Coach Riddle for coming by, and now everybody's going to go, why did he go by there? Hey, and then they're going to the recruiting department, and they're like, well, there's a guy, but we didn't think he was very good. He's like, well, he's good enough for Boise State, so we better get by there. And then all of a sudden now he's going to have 7 offers when we could have delayed it and got him on the phone and surrounded him a little bit. And then they can start announcing. Because once you pull the trigger, the kid's going to put it out there, which rightfully so.
So so we're in January workouts now. What is going on for the Boise State football team themselves in terms of spring semester is going? They're in the winter workouts. I know there's different rules there too in terms of walkthroughs and all that kind of stuff now. And I know January, it's pretty much just, the coaches aren't doing a lot of teaching football or whatever, but give us kind of the insight into inside the building right now with the current team. What's going on? Is there, crazy as it sounds, only like 6 weeks away from spring ball?
Lifting and running, getting bigger, getting faster, getting stronger. They'll start, when the coaches get off the road here, and I don't know what's the date. Yeah, this should be the last week. So coaches will get off the road, players are lifting, and then the coaches have some time off after signing day. Typically they'll get 4 days off, 5 days off. And then when they get back, they'll start meeting. And you're limited on what you can do. You're limiting time-wise. So it's usually a half-hour meeting, and then I try to do some type of walkthrough. But now you're just getting ready for spring ball. You're reinstalling your offense, your defense, some special teams, not a whole lot. And then as you get going, meetings will increase, walkthroughs are increased, and then you'll fly into spring ball. But the ultimate goal is you want to install the offense during that time. You want to install the offense again in spring ball. And then when you're done with spring ball, coaches will go back. You got camps, things like that, but you're meeting. And then you'll meet with the kids, start meeting with the kids again. And after studies are done, you've reached out to other coaches. They're doing things really well. And then you'll go back and you'll start putting in some tweaks. And then you're going to install day 1 for fall camp, day 2 fall camp, day 3 fall camp, day 4 fall camp, day 5 fall camp, and then rewind it. First day of fall camp, install day 1 fall camp, day 2 fall camp. So the kids have heard it 2, 3, 4 times before they're even started fall camp. It just speeds up the development. It speeds up just the knowledge, especially when freshmen are back in town, is you got to get them up to speed as fast as they can if you think they're going to play as a freshman.
What I mentioned, and final thing or two for Brad Bedell, then we'll talk some basketball, but what do you think in terms of Nate Potter? You mentioned like installing the offense. How similar or different is the offense under Nate Potter going to be? And when you do have a guy that's been on staff but is now the OC, what is he doing, up until spring ball here with meeting with quarterbacks or players and trying to get his offense going?
Well, I think it's always been a little bit interesting time when you get hired during this time, especially with Zach, since he's not on the road. He's just around the guys. He's studying the quarterbacks. He's studying the offense last year. I think Nate will come in and he'll have his own little wrinkles, some few different things. But I think, the offense is really good. There's no sense of, I think you got to tweak something every year, right? You can't just go out and lay out the same stuff, right? Maybe, Zach is very smart in the passing game, very smart. And so he's got a wealth of knowledge from the Seahawks. So are they going to put in, I wouldn't mind seeing some vertical passing game.
Yes.
Just things like that they're going to go study and say, okay, who is the best vertical passing team in college football or in the National Football League? And then you study it. And then you try to reach out to the other coaches like, hey, I saw you guys are running this route. Are you checking to it? Is it certain coverages you're looking for? Things like that. So you're trying to get the knowledge of the scheme so you can present it to the players in a positive way and say, this is why this is going to make us better. Not like, oh, boy, they're doing this, and so we think they're going to do it this way, so let's just install it that way. The players are like, this sucks. This isn't going to work. So you got to get the knowledge of what you're studying. Some technique stuff, some run game stuff. But I think Nate will have his own wrinkle, and I think Nate's going to do a phenomenal job. But I also think, the Zach Hill hire is awesome in the passing game. And so I think those two are going to really play off each other with, let's not forget about Matt. He had some really good offenses as the offensive coordinator at Montana State.
Yeah.
I think those three minds in there it's just going to help Boise State evolve, get better, and see some different things and some wrinkles that they're going to need going into this season. So they're not running the same stuff. Nobody's going to go out and run the same stuff. It's like, we got to think of different shifts and motions to get to different things. Something that they're not going to, that they saw all last year that they see again, you're dead in the water. So, I think they'll do those studying during the summer. And then the great time, I tried to get all that done because when you're starting to do camps, you're around so many coaches. And now it's like, oh my God, I just studied them. Hey, do you have a minute? What did you, I watched this. I've watched it 50 times. What were you thinking? Oh, it's this, this, and this. Got it. Perfect. That's all I needed. Put it in my phone, and now we're good. And you see so many coaches during this whole circuit, you're just trying to pick brains. And they do the same thing. I mean, they're going to, trust me, people are going to be studying Boise State's run game and say, what did they do? And so that's what you do. And then you just talk to your buddies and go, especially if you're not going to play them, right? Obviously, if you're playing, you're not asking them anything. Yeah. But you're going out, you're just trying to get knowledge and things like that to give your players a different wrinkle that's going to help you win a football game.
Well, we appreciate the time as always, Brad. We do have one final question. Tyler K. And he says, Brad, do you have any advice for me to overcome my fear for splitting face cards? I did to make this clear, Brad. I sent you a video last time I was in Vegas. I may have split face cards and it may have paid off for me. Now it may have been a virtual game. I did it on a virtual blackjack game, but I sent you a video and you responded right away. So I hope I made your day by that video splitting face cards. But Tyler wants to know any advice for overcoming his fears of splitting face cards.
Well, it depends, Tyler. If you're over 21, have another beer. That's how I started it, to be quite honest with you. The other one is start low, a little $5. The worst you're going to lose is 10. And then if you go on a run, you're in good shape. But it's just a matter of, the other thing is you got to let everybody know you're doing it. Or
I was going to say maybe start it at an empty table or something.
Yes, because they're going to, trust me, I've gotten into a couple arguments and a guy did not like it. And now I just warn everybody, hey, if I'm sitting at a table by myself, if I'm with a full table, I won't do it that much just because you're affecting the rest of the table, right? That's their money. But if I'm by myself and go, hey, I'm splitting face cards, and then they'll look at the dealer and go, he's actually doing it. They're like, I'm not sitting here. It's actually a great thing. Now you get all your buddies there. They know you're doing it. I mean, so they know to bet low. And then really, after you see some success, like anything other, you want to do more. You're going to get burned eventually.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what.
We were at the James, right, when the Circa crew came to town in October, and I heard you explaining to the owner of Circa and some of the other higher-ups there that you were doing it, and I think they said they loved you doing it, so it must not be the smart play. No,
it's a horrible play. I know that, but it's called gambling for a reason.
Yes.
Like I'm not putting $10 on a blackjack table because I need to pay my mortgage. I'm doing it to have fun.
Yeah.
Now, if it's going really well and it's getting really late in the night and, all these places serve free beer, I've made them. I've split $100 hand. I won. I got up and walked off. It's just, it's fun. It's not.
And not to get political, which I'm not on this show, but I don't know if you saw the videos or not. It was pretty cool to see a sitting president walking around the lobby of Circa there the other day. Donald Trump went to a speech in Las Vegas, and he chose Circa for his speech. So regardless of what side you're on, not getting into politics, but for a sitting president to be walking around the same lobby that we've been in many times, Brad, and our sponsor, and see him hanging out with Derek Stevens, the owner, who I know and is a supporter of Bronco Nation News. I just thought, regardless of what side, to have a sitting president, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't care if it was Biden or Trump or Obama. It doesn't matter. Yep. It's like, it just goes to show that everybody knows that's a great establishment, and it's a lot of fun. And I hope everybody takes advantage of that place come NCAA tournament time.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's you better get in now. It's really hard to get in.
Yeah. Me and my wife are flying down. This will be the third year in a row. We're flying down next Sunday to watch the Super Bowl out at the pool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a great place. And I think just with you're right, the sitting president, former president, whatever they want to do, whatever affiliation, really doesn't matter. They're people. Yep. They want to be around good people.
Well, I know we had a good time for the it seems like a long ways away, the football contest in August, but hopefully we can start convincing Rid and some of these folks and some fans, and maybe get another big crew going down for the contest in August, because that was a lot of fun. That was where one of your near brawls on the splitting face cards almost happened, I believe. But
yeah, that guy was pissed. He was so pissed.
And then you stood up. He got sat down real quick.
Yeah, I warned him. I was very polite, and I was like, "Man, I'm just doing this. I'm having fun." And he said a couple things, and I flipped the switch and stood up, and dealer got nervous. I got upset, and we ended up shaking hands. Everything was going to be fine. But he did get up and walk off, which is fine. I didn't want to play with that ass anyway.
All right, Brad, we appreciate it. Great stuff. I want to get into some just general college football talk next week in terms of maybe conference realignment, some CFP changes we might want to see, just some general college football talk that people might have next week. But great insight on the recruiting. Got some great comments in the chat. Loving the inside look at it. And we appreciate you for joining us, and we'll do it again next week, sir.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Have a good day.
Appreciate Brad for jumping on. We're going to talk some basketball here momentarily. Stay with us. Some basketball talk. Lithia Ford of Boise. They're the sponsor of our pregame show. We'll be live tonight at 7 o'clock, getting you set for Boise State and Nevada. The Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show coming up at 7 o'clock, and they're going to announce some new NIL deals today with some players this afternoon. So stay on the lookout for that. Lithia Ford Boise adding to their team here of the NIL game. That'll be this afternoon. Some big news coming from Lithia Ford Boise. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com. We'll be awarding a Matt Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game tonight as well. The Player of the Game will be awarded the Matt Boucher Real Estate Player of the Game award tonight. When you buy or sell a home with Matt, you get to meet everybody in the picture there. Tremendous customer service. No stone is left unturned. Highly recommend you. I know everybody has multiple friends, family members that are realtors, but you won't find better service than Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate. Check them out online, BoucherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidley's.com. 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 Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidley's.com. Locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Check them out, shopridleys.com. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And you just want that hometown grocery store feel. Highly recommend that Kuna location, some of their other great locations in the state of Idaho as well. It's shopridleys.com. You looking for a job? How about transportation compliance service? Transcompservice.com. They can help you every step of the way. Get into the trucking industry. Transcompservice.com. DOT, overweight, all the different permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. If you're looking for a career change, fresh start, consider the trucking industry and get started with transportation compliance service. Weighed in today, got a new low. We're down over 34 pounds thanks to leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out online, leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy eating, 10,000 plus combinations. You pick how much, you pick what you want, all different diets. It's deliverable anywhere in the Treasure Valley. They'll deliver it to you. You get it 5 days. It's good in the refrigerator. Pop it in the microwave. You're eating steak and shrimp, so you get an order fulfilled on a Sunday or Monday, and you get lunch all week thanks to leanfeastmeridian.com. And again, it's helped me lose 34 pounds going back to October, and can help you as well. Leanfeastmeridian.com. They're feeding the football team, the basketball team. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. We want some post-game voicemails tonight. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail during that kind of 15-minute period while we're doing our interviews after the game, and then we'll get them loaded up. We'll play them on the post-game show, and then we'll give away a $100 gift card to the Blue and Orange store for the best voicemail of the week, courtesy of Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof or repair, an estimate, an inspection. Rain's family loving our new roof from Signature Roofing, and I highly recommend them. Just a great people there, great service. We were very happy with our roof and the whole process of getting the estimate and getting it done. Signature Roofing. Again, check them out online, mysignatureroofing.com. Big basketball game tonight. Boise State, Nevada, 2 teams in very similar situations. And I went back and listened to the post-game press conference of Steve Alford last night from their game the other day against San Diego State. And he's saying a lot of the same things Leon Rice is saying. They're just playing a lot of guys, more than he's played in a while, trying to find the right combination of guys. And they're losing games in every which way they can. Defense, buzzer beaters, late shots, missed shots. I mean, they're really searching for it there at Nevada. 3-6 in the conference. They were projected to be a very, a talented team this year, along with Boise State, and both teams have kind of underachieved. Both teams badly in need of a win tonight. 8:00 game, Extra Mile Arena. There are tickets available. We'll be curious to see what the crowd's going to be. And again, if you're a student, you can go pick up your Jackson's beanie or bucket hat or whatever they're calling this. Jackson's is giving out 500 of these to students tonight, I believe. So you'll be seeing the students wearing these in the crowd tonight. It's pretty cool. This is like an official basketball net here, and cool little hat here. So appreciate Jackson's for sending a couple my way. And this is a big one tonight. There's no way around it. Boise State badly in need of a win, badly in need of turning this thing around back in the right direction. And what changes are we going to see tonight? That is all. That is the story of the day. And going into this show tonight, what are we going to see tonight? When it comes to this basketball team. Ray says we only have 6 minutes for basketball. Ray, you get an hour pregame show tonight at 7:00. So we'll see at 7 for the pregame show, Ray. We have a contractually obligated Wednesday thing with Brad Bedell, but we're talking basketball now, and we can go a little longer than 6 minutes, but we'll have big reasons. We have an hour pregame show tonight where it's nothing but basketball starting at 7:00 tonight on Bronco Nation News. But what changes are we going to see? Who's going to play more? Who's going to play less? What are they going to decide to do here? And what's this thing look like tonight? What's the crowd look like tonight? I mean, if you're a fan, are you bought in and 8:00 game and you're buying tickets and you're coming to this game tonight fired up? Or are you saying, hey, it hasn't been a great season, I'm going to wait till the 2:00 game on Saturday when it fits better in my schedule? Be very curious to see what the crowd is tonight, how into the game the crowd is tonight, because this is, I hate to say the biggest game of the season, but you got to win this game if you're Boise State. Like, I know that the NCAA tournament's a long shot. It's a pipe dream anyway, but you got to get this thing moving in the right direction, get some confidence going, and you have to find a way to really get this thing turned around and get some confidence. I've been saying it for a while now, but you have 11 games to figure out how to win 3 games. And so that's really what it is. You have to find a way to get this thing going in the right direction and find a way to get a win tonight. And then you've got Fresno at home on Saturday. That should be a game you have a chance to win. And then you're terrible beat, by the way, if you had Fresno +8 last night. Thoughts and prayers. Fresno State was +8 at Wyoming. Fresno does not foul. Wyoming hits a 3-pointer. They make it. It goes to overtime. And then Wyoming ends up winning by, I think, 10 or 11 or something, or 9, and covers the 8-point spread there in overtime. So that's a brutal beat if anybody bet on Fresno last night. Sorry about that. I was watching that game. And then San Diego State was down 21, came back and won. It's a big win for San Diego State. Something still just doesn't seem right with them. They've lost a couple home games. They don't look like the same San Diego State team of old. So I certainly think that's a game Boise State's kicking themselves that they didn't win here in Boise, and they'll have a chance to go down to San Diego in a couple weeks and try to get revenge on that. But first things first, Boise State has 3 of 4 at home. This is a big stretch for them here to get some wins going. I mean, if they can win these next 4 games, because they've got San Jose coming to Boise next Friday after they go to Vegas, you could be 17-7, I think 9-4 in conference, probably in 3rd or 4th place. And when you go to San Diego, so there's a lot of reasons for optimism if you're a Boise State fan, if you can try to get on a little bit of a run here. But it starts tonight against a Nevada team, and as I mentioned, some changes coming to the lineup. One of those, I think, has to be Javen Buchanan going into the starting lineup. Javen Buchanan has been very impressive of late. Foul trouble hurt him in the last game, but he was +18 in 20 minutes, by far the best plus-minus on the team. I think Javen Buchanan needs to play 30 minutes tonight, in my opinion. I'd like to see Bowie get a little more time as well, but I think Javen Buchanan, and I want to see Stanley get more time. I want Omar Stanley, to me, is a key to this team, and I think you play him, you put him out there for his 30 minutes, and you see what he can do, and you just, force him to play his way into becoming the old Omar Stanley that we saw last year. That's going to be the biggest turnaround, I think, if this team wants to go where it wants to go. But Javen Buchanan, NAIA All-American, it's kind of been at times an up-and-down season for him, but it certainly seems like he's ready to kind of ascend and be a key player for this team. Javen Buchanan talked with the media. Let's hear a little bit from Javen Buchanan getting set for the game tonight against Nevada. What have the last couple of days been like, after the Colorado State loss?
We've been obviously, guys weren't happy or satisfied, but the way we attacked these past 2 days were really good. We got up and down a lot, just got back to the basics of what we know how to do and what makes us a good team.
After the game, Leon kind of said, hey, this is rock bottom, reset, restart. We're going to play the guys that deserve to play and kind of move forward? I mean, I know you still got 2 more days of practice here. What are you kind of seeing in terms of just trying to, it's a new 11-game season and just kind of trying to make the most of what you have left here?
Yeah, it's hard to obviously flip the page when you don't feel like you're doing as best as you can. But I think we have a resilient group, like from top to bottom. I don't think, I know no one's given up on the season in any sort of way. So I'm just proud of how, especially these past 2 days, how we've competed against each other. I think we bring out the best in each other when we're all competing at a high level. So
you guys have had 3 losses where you've allowed a 3-pointer late in the game. Just what's the key focus been on? Just kind of finishing those games been like?
Yeah, and those sting really bad. Some of it's basketball, but a lot of it is also on us. So, like I said, these past 2 days, we're getting back to the basics of what we know how to do. And one of those things is guarding the 3-point line. So,
talking to Al after the game, he was like, I came here to win and we're going to win. He still was super confident.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to have a leader like that? And I don't know if you guys have had any kind of team meetings the last couple of days or players only meetings, or if he's said anything, or Tyson or you or anybody, but what has it been like just amongst the players trying to believe that, you guys can still make something of this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's amazing to have, I think that's the most important thing, to have leaders that still believe. And a lot of leaders across the country do not believe, and they're just playing for the wrong reasons. So I know we have a lot of guys on our team, everyone on our team still believes in the team. So it's not a fact of, are they going to give up or any of that, because that's not in our DNA.
What did you want to work on most this week with the extra time between games?
Me, specifically? I'll just say just being more disciplined, especially defensively. Has been my biggest focus all year, really, and I've taken strides. But yeah, just continuing on that path.
I know who starts isn't necessarily it's who ends a game. You don't care if you start, if you play the other 39 minutes, but I mean, is that something you feel like you've done enough at this point that you'd welcome a bigger role, or you think you deserve a bigger role, or how you kind of look at how you're being used?
I mean, I just look at it as I just got to control what I can. I don't control who starts. None of us on the team controls who starts. So to worry about that doesn't really make sense. So I just go out there and just try to play my game to the best of my ability, and then all that other stuff usually falls into place.
Leon mentioned the fouling, and you kind of said the discipline on defense. And I mean, he said that's kind of the only thing last game that held you back from playing more was fouls. Is that how you see it too? If you can if you can not foul, you can stay on the court more.
Yeah, and I think that ties into discipline and just being disciplined and not using my hands as much. Yeah, it's like I said, I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just obviously not playing not to foul, but just being more disciplined, showing my hands, stuff like that.
I know basketball's different, or the same game, but when you come from the level you came, I mean, the physicality, the size of the players, what's that adjustment been like when it comes to defensively and fouling and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say it's been challenging, and like you said, you have there's not a lot of times where you can relax. Definitely less than where I came from, where you can just relax. And most of my discipline areas have been when I relax or I get comfortable and then I foul because I'm kind of behind. But yeah, like I said, I think that's gonna come with time. There's been so many things that I have fixed, and I'm so that's just gonna be another challenge that I have to fix.
What do you think some of the biggest things you have fixed are?
I mean, overall, just my overall defense, I would say. Just looking at where I was at last year compared to now, it's just miles different of how just how I play in general. Shooting, obviously, but mostly defense, I would say, and rebounding, compared to just the overall effort I give on that side of the ball.
Were the biggest difference in the experience, or what you thought you were going to experience moving up to D1 from NAIA? What has been, I guess, what's been your thoughts on how things have been as far as just in general playing and traveling, being with the team, and having this experience?
Yeah, it's been a blessing, really. It's been everything I expected. Obviously, there's been stuff where I didn't expect this, and then there's been stuff where it's been even more than I expected, the traveling and all that stuff. But overall, it's been really smooth.
Biggest difference between the two?
There he is, Javen Buchanan. You can hear the rest of that interview up on our YouTube channel right now, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. You can hear the full interview with Javen Buchanan, full interview with Leon Rice ahead of tonight's game. Boise State, by the way, is projected at Ken Palm to win by 7 points. Nevada is coming off back-to-back blowout losses, but again, that was to Utah State on the road and San Diego State at home. They did start out 0-4 in Mountain West play, lost 4 very close, tough games to Colorado State, Wyoming, Utah State, New Mexico. They did find a way, to beat the 3 bottom teams in the league, Fresno State, Air Force, San Jose. They got to 3-4. They're feeling pretty good. And then, as I said, just lost badly to Utah State and San Diego State. So they are in Boise for the game tonight. And very, very similar. Like I said, listening to Steve Alford, he's saying a lot of the things you're hearing Leon Rice say, and a lot of, searching for lineups and trying to figure out how frustrating the season's been, underachieving to this point and losing in a lot of close, tough games. I mean, sounds very similar to what Boise State's going through tonight. So both these teams just absolutely desperate for a win tonight, and should be a great game. Hopefully the crowd shows up. If you're coming tonight, get into it, be loud. I mean, this is a massive game for kind of a swing game. I mean, I know the NCAA tournament at large bid is pretty much zero, but there's still, things to play for, and you want to get the best seed you can for the conference tournament, and you don't want to lose a home game either. Boise State, I think, is 39-6 in their last 45 home games in conference play, tied with San Diego State for the best record in the Mountain West. So Boise State has traditionally got, taken care of it at home, but they already lost the San Diego State game at home, and obviously have to find a way to pull this one out and try to get something going. I want to see more Javen Buchanan. I want to see more Omar Stanley. And I want to see Tyson Degenhart be more aggressive. We don't need Tyson Degenhart taking 4 shots in the first half. Let's see him get up to 7, 8, 9, 10 shots in the first half. Get him going early. A lot of times he waits till the second half to kind of be more aggressive and assertive. I want to see Tyson Degenhart from the opening possession of the game really be more, assertive and focused and trying to be aggressive early in the game is something I really want to see tonight. So we'll see what happens. By the way, I'm expecting a pretty good officiating crew. I saw some big-time officials, out doing West Coast games, whether it was Provo or whether it was some other spots around town, Boulder. There were some, I'm trying to think of some of the other spots I saw, but there were some big-time officials. Not Corvallis. That was in Spokane, had a couple. So there were some games last night that had some big-time officiating crews. San Diego had Keith Kimball and a couple of guys. Jeffrey High Knees Anderson was in Boulder last night. So there's a chance you could see what I would assume is typically Wednesday used to be the day with all these games, but with all these other nights now and TV and stuff, Tuesdays become a bigger night. So there's not very many games. I want to say 4 or 5 games west of the Mississippi tonight in college basketball. So I would suspect Boise State may get a nice officiating crew coming in here tonight. So we'll see. We'll have Jordan says the Reno home game last year was atrocious refereeing. Yeah, that was when I believe Nevada got the win, right? Didn't Nevada win in Boise last year? I believe they did. Let's take a quick look at that score, too, because I remember talking to Steve Alford after the game. Yeah, they lost senior night to Nevada. Boise State lost senior night to Nevada 76-66. That was a tough one for Boise State to lose in front of a packed house on senior night last year. But appreciate you guys for tuning in. Support the sponsors. Appreciate all you guys for your support of Bronco Nation News, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight. 7 o'clock tonight for the pregame show, the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. We'll have all kinds of interviews, thoughts, whatever, and then we will make an announcement tonight on the pregame show about the contest. So I'll have some details on what we're going to do with the contest, or unfortunately not do, but we're going to make it right and do. We got some plans for the private jet contest. We will tell you about that on the pregame show and fill you in a little bit on kind of what's going on with that. So appreciate you guys for watching the show. Thanks to Brad Bedell for jumping on. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Go support all the sponsors. We would hope that you would support the sponsors and tell them that you appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. This was an 1 hour and 4-minute show on YouTube that you just watched for free. Thanks to all of our sponsors, many of which you see behind me, some of which you don't, including Taco Bell and Jackson's and Signature Roofing, Snake River Pool and Spa, and our other major sponsors. So support the sponsors, folks. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you at 7 o'clock tonight at Extra Mile Arena. By the way, big win for the women's basketball team yesterday. They came back to beat New Mexico after trailing by 11. We've got a full story. We had an intern candidate at the game last night, Mason Maurice, a student at Boise State, and wrote a story for us, and that's up on the site if you want to go to BroncoNationNews.com and read about the women's game last night. Congratulations. Nice big win for them. And now the stage turns for the men tonight. And again, we'll be live at 7 o'clock with the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show, getting you set for the 8 o'clock tip-off, Boise State and Nevada. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Go check out our YouTube channel. Go check out our website. Subscribe if you can. BNN 50 deals, that promo code. You get a 1-year subscription for just $50. And we'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock, pregame show. And by the way, I'll be out at Lithia Ford this afternoon. They're going to have a event, I believe, at 4 o'clock where they're signing some new athletes. So we'll be out there with some coverage of that as well. And then we'll get over to Extra Mile Arena for the game tonight. So have a great rest of your day. We'll see you at the X tonight. Big one for Boise State against Nevada. Lithia Florida Boise pregame show gets you going at 7 o'clock. Take care, everybody.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.